Welcome, everyone. Question for you. Why do some people rise to the top and everyone's equally talented, but some just stay stuck in average? For over 20 years, today's guest has been obsessed with that very question, and what he discovered may just change the way you look at success forever and also help do something about it. Today, I am joined by my guest, Mr. Umar Hameed, the
Hey,
host of
Ali,
Hey, how
thank
you
you.
doing?
Thank you so much
Yes.
for the invite. So happy to be here.
Oh, man, happy to have you. And Hamid is the host of the No Limit Sales podcast and master of mindset transformation. If you know me, you know I'm very passionate about this subject right here. He has helped leaders, salespeople, and entrepreneurs break through mental barriers, stop playing small, and unlock the true potential. I, Umar, let's get into it.
Yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to us as human beings is our mindset. And everything in the entire world, including this pen that has an instruction manual that tells me I have to press this to make it work or not work. So, the most inconsequential things we have a manual for, the most important thing it's like, hey, Ellie, you're on your own. Figure it out. And that's
Yep.
been my mission in life is how do we empower people with the gift of mindset so they can decide how they want to act or feel in any situation.
So the first question I have for you is you said for 20 plus years you've been obsessed with separating these A players from everyone else. What first sparked this obsession for you?
So when I was about 13 years old, my mom committed suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I was in a different country and it caused me to shut down. But a part of me was, I should have been there. I should have been able to help her. The reality is I didn't have the skill set to do that. So in the background, it's been an obsession of, if I could just help her get a different mindset, it would make a difference. So probably in the 1990s, I started focusing in on mindset, became a practitioner in neurolinguistic programming, then a master practitioner, learned hypnosis, delved into neuroscience. And in 2003, I started doing this work full time. I used to be in Silicon Valley in high tech, and I went from high tech to brain tech because this is uh, my mission, my privilege to empower people with the gift of mindset.
Now, was there ever a defining moment when it just clicked and you realized that it wasn't about talent or luck, it was strictly your mindset?
So it is about talent and it is about luck. So I'll give you a good example because it sounds like paradoxical, right? That somebody succeeds in an amazing way. Let's say they close this really big deal. And one of the things they say, our language is purposeful, even though we don't realize it is so. Someone might say, I don't believe it. I got the sale. Because literally at an unconscious level, they don't believe they got this because they don't think they deserve it. And sure enough, the next big deal they go for, they're going to sabotage it. And so mindset is so critical. So if I had a mindset that I can close any deal, would
Hmm.
I do better than the average salesperson? Probably. But let's say I was someone that had a okay mindset, but I was really good at sales. I knew what to say, the process of sales. I'd probably have a really good living doing that. But if you combine the two, you get somebody that's good at sales with a kick-ass amazing mindset. They set the world on fire. They start new industries. And so that's the obsession. So let's say you don't have the talent, but you've got the right mindset. Then you go, I want to learn every single thing about this one thing, and I'm going to be an expert at this, by the end of the month or by the end of the year. But if you've got somebody that says, yeah, I really need to learn this, and I'll do my best, I'll probably be okay, they're not going to have the same outcome as opposed to somebody who's got a mindset that this is predetermined. I am going to be freaking awesome at this. And they just absorb that information faster, stronger. And isn't that amazing?
It's very amazing. I have suffered and I shouldn't say use the term suffer as I'm learning from you. I have dealt with that very same thing. They call that imposter syndrome, where things have happened. It's like, I can't believe that I got this promotion and that I did it, and everyone else around me is smarter than me. And
Mm.
you get nervous. You're in meetings. So yeah, I've dealt with that, the anxiety, everything you described. Now, from what I'm understanding from you and your conversation, it takes time to do this.
Actually, the
Develop
reality is,
time.
no, it doesn't take time to do this. So
Go
I'll
ahead.
give you a couple of examples, but I'll go backtrack a little bit to imposter syndrome. Uh, you probably have a ton of examples of you doing things really, really well, maybe even way above average. But if you have that imposter syndrome, what you're doing is saying, discounting all of that data that is true. Oh, I'm going to discount that. I'm going to look at, I'm a fraud. I'm not doing as well. Sometimes we see it on Oscar night. We have an Oscar winner that wins this Oscar, and they've got this long history of great work. And they're convinced that I'll never get another job again. Sooner or later, they're going to figure out I'm a fraud. And it's like,
Mhm.
wow, you're ignoring all that positive stuff, and your mind's focusing on the anxiety and the unworthiness. So, yeah. So that's how strong your beliefs are, that they color the way you see the world. So here, let me give you a good example. There's many ways to change your beliefs about what's possible, what isn't. Here's one of them. I do not recommend this. Have you ever come across anybody or read in a story where somebody came close to death? Might have been a car accident that
Mhm.
they survived, or cancer, and they come out of it, and it's like, why was I worrying about all that BS in my life? I was obsessing about being better than my neighbor or this. All that stuff goes away, and all of a sudden they get this new focus on what they're doing, and they get this gravitas and strength to go after something else. It took coming this close to death for them to let go of all the social bullshit and kind of go, this is what's important. I'm going to go do this. This is my mission. Notice I had said that we don't use language accidentally. So, Ali, let
Yes.
me ask you a question. This is going to be a pop quiz. When
Okay.
somebody uh, overcomes cancer, what do they call that? They call that a
When someone they call it
overcomes cancer. They call it a remission, right?
remission. Yes.
So think about that. We don't use language accidentally. I'm a business guy. I'm building my business. My family's kind of secondary, although I love them very much, but I'm focused on business. I'm focused on the new car, the new house, the better vacation. This, they get cancer, they come to death's door, and all of a sudden, they get a new mission, which is like, hey, I want to be the best dad in the world. I want to be there for my family, or I want to start this company. Why am I a slave for somebody else? And they start getting better in their cancer. So, what came first? They got better from cancer, they got a new mission, or somewhere along this journey, they switched their mindset, and this new mission allowed them to overcome the cancer. So, one of the ways you can create change really, really quickly is have a near death experience. I don't recommend that.
No, I don't either.
But here's another way. Let me give you an example of what's possible. I was working with this sales guy who's a realtor, and when I met him, I noticed that when he's talking about what he wants to accomplish, it's like, Umar, I know I can be good at this, and it's going to happen. Strong words, strong gestures. And then he comes up with this hand and goes, but and then he tells me the story that he's been a drug addict for a while. He's been clean for like 5 years, 6 years. But when he talks about it, weaker gestures and a weaker voice. And as soon as I notice strong over here, I'm going to be successful.
Mhm.
But I've got this in my past. Then there's an internal conflict in his mind. One part of his mind wants to succeed. Another part, you don't deserve. You're not good enough. So I coached him for a month, and uh, we tweaked that inner conflict, At the end of the month, he's got a testimonial that if you're interested, we can put the link in the show notes with a guy saying, "Hey, Umar, I'm not sure if you knew this, but I was ready to quit when I met you because I wasn't earning anything, wasn't selling homes, so I wasn't earning anything. And this month, I've gotten 9 listings, no, 8 listings. One of them's already closed." So we didn't teach him a thing about real estate. We just figured out there's a conflict inside his mind. I want to succeed. You don't deserve. And we resolved it. And as soon as we resolved it, it just allowed him to blossom. So change happens in a moment. Sometimes that moment takes 26 years of suffering and doubting yourself to one day you wake up in the morning and go, that's it, and things change. Or you go in with applied neuroscience and you make that change happen this week and change it. Change happens in a moment. The question is, how do we get there in a way that we get that change happening now, not 16 years from now?
And that's the $1 million question. And I always question it because I've suffered with that as well. How can you be so strong and confident in one instance, and then all of a sudden you go into another instance and you're very weak and feel very vulnerable?
So here's a clue of figuring it out. Ali, your mind, and dear listeners, your mind is freaking amazing, right? It's got so much processing power that, so for example, the world's fastest reader, how many words can they read in a minute with 100% comprehension? The number, the Guinness Book of World Records, that number is super huge. Better than you can do, better than I can do. That just shows you the processing power of your mind. So we all have that. Some of us can train it to do that trick, read really, really fast. Does that make sense, Ali?
It makes a lot of sense.
So what happens is this, is that the number one superpower that every single human being on planet has is the ability to rationalize anything. I didn't want to go out on a date because, I wasn't feeling right, or she wasn't the right girl, or I didn't want that job, or da da da, whatever we tell ourselves, because we've got this supercomputer that will change our mindset or our thinking to somehow justify what's happening in the real world. So when you go to do something and you don't do it well, the rational mind comes in. Oh, I just wasn't in the mood, or they're a bad customer, or they don't like da da da, or whatever excuse comes up. So don't listen to your mind, it lies to you.
Now, for those that may not know, you use the term neuralistic programming language. Can you break that down for those that may have never
Sure.
heard that term or don't understand it?
So, yes. So, I'm going to come back to the point I was making after this. So, neuro linguistic programming. And what that means is neuro means brain, linguistic, the language of the brain, like how the brain actually operates. And then programming is basically programs are just a process. Do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So, a good example of that would be is if I did something really weird to you, Ali, we were in a social setting and I put out my hand like this, like to do a handshake, you without thinking would see that trigger. Oh, guy wants put his hand out, and you'd reach out your hand and you'd shake my hand automatically, right? You've shaken hands millions of times. You've seen this gesture. So the ability to shake hands, you don't have to think about it. I need to make my hand go down 4 feet 3 inches, out 2 feet ahead. I want this much pressure. I want to shake 3 times. None of that is in your conscious awareness. Just that program is programmed in your mind, and you just shake my hand. Makes sense, right?
Make a lot of sense.
So you go into a setting and you see this girl that you kind of go, oh, she looks interesting, and you go up to her and say, hey, girl, how you doing? My name's Ali. So nice to meet you. You've got a program that does that. But let's say it was somebody really hot that you went, oh my God, this is a woman I want in my life, maybe in my bed. Another program comes up and you go, hi, my name's Ali. Hi, how are? It's a new program, right? You're just meeting a girl. One was she's safe to talk to. She's just a girl, not somebody that I find incredibly fascinating. So that's neuro linguistic programming, is understanding how our mind works. And where it comes in, where the magic comes in is that we can take someone that is amazing at spelling. and we go, how do you learn how to spell? And they go, I don't know, or I just practice it. But one of the things you can do is you can figure out how their mind has a spelling strategy, how they figure out spelling. So they do it really, really well. And once we decode that, we can teach that code to someone else and they'll start becoming phenomenal spellers. And so NLP is the understanding of excellence. And one of the things that people can be excellent about is anxiety. It's like, Janet, you're a world class person for anxiety. How do you do that? And she'll go, I don't know. It's a horrible thing. But once you slow down time, maybe use a little bit of hypnosis, she goes, oh, what I do is I look at the situation and I think of the worst possible thing that could happen. And then I just focus on that. And that makes me feel really uncomfortable. And when I feel uncomfortable, then I talk to myself and say, oh, you're so stupid. You can't do anything right. And then I look at the person and it makes me feel more anxiety. Then I talk to myself really horribly. And then before I know it, I'm a ball on the floor. And it's like, oh my God, that's your strategy for being like so anxious and so debilitated. Let me teach you to Ali. And I could teach you to Ali. Ali, do you want to learn how to be the world's worst anxious person? And you go, sure. And I say, okay, now do these steps. And if you followed those steps, you'd be like, Umar, you SOB, help me unlearn this. So NLP teaches you how to do things, how people actually do things. And we can take that model. Of course, we don't teach people how to be super anxious or depressed, but we teach
I think the
people how to
world
be
and social
crazy.
media does enough of that
Yeah.
with the big rise in anxiety now all of a sudden.
So let me go back to what I wanted to teach you earlier. I was saying your mind is so powerful that we rationalize things, and you go to do one thing, you do it really well. You go to do the second thing, and all of a sudden you're not doing it well. So when that happens, Ali, what I need you to do is notice that, not what your mind is saying, but what your body's feeling. So let me take you and your listeners and viewers on this journey, but you'll be my guinea pig, Ali, if you're okay with it.
Let's do it.
Okay, Ali, think of a time you don't need to tell us what was happening. You can keep it to yourself or share it. One of those times where you kind of went to do something and you just did it badly or went, "Oh my God, it feels too terrible. I don't want to do it." Can you think of one of those memories where that happened?
Yes, I had a business proposal that I was supposed to do for, ironically, American Airlines. I always, I kind of have some a resentment towards American Airlines, personally
Right.
and business wise. And I didn't really have all the information. I was getting half information from here and there. And I felt like I was kind of through in this position last minute.
Mm.
It went horrible.
Do me a favor. I
Yes.
want you to go back to that memory as best as you can. When you have that memory, nod your head so I know you got it.
Okay.
And dear listeners, if you're doing this, go with your memory once you got it. Okay, I want you to go back, Ali, and see what you saw back then in that meeting. And when you got the visuals, let me know.
I got the visuals.
And when you got whatever you were hearing, the conversation, noises in the background, music in the background, when you're hearing what you heard back then, let me know.
I'm hearing it. Mhm.
When you do those two things, you get to re-experience that uncomfortable feeling. What do you feel? Is it your chest, your belly, your head? Where do you feel that negative feeling?
That makes my heart beat
Heart.
fast.
Okay, your heart was beating fast. Put your hand on your heart for a minute
Uh-huh.
as you're feeling that feeling and say, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to pay attention to? Or what do you want to protect me from? See what answer pops up.
Okay. Processing it.
Yeah, you're in that situation with American Airlines. You're feeling uncomfortable. What does this feeling say? I want what for Ali?
To be more prepared and to go more into the details is what I take from that moment.
Yeah, so it felt so. Would it be never let me put words in your mouth? Did it feel unsafe that you were not prepared?
Yes,
Were
very.
you not ready for this? So it's protecting you. And one of the ways it protects you is to get this negative feeling to come out. And then it basically gets you to focus on that and start shutting down. So when you go to do something and a negative feeling comes up, just put your hand wherever that feeling is, your stomach, your head, your left elbow, and just say, hey, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to do? And it's going to say, oh, you need to be more prepared. Or it could say the person you're with is a dangerous person. And your mind saying, come on, man, this is a really good dude. He's dressed well, he's spoken well, he's fine. But your internal compass is saying danger. And guess what happens when you don't listen to that internal compass? Trouble.
Yes.
You end up buying land in Florida that you didn't want to buy in the first place. So the lesson I wanted to teach you is listen to your body. It tells the truth. Your mind oftentimes lies to you. Can we live without our mind? Absolutely not. But pay serious attention to what your body says, because it cuts through language and it just goes down to a primitive being level. And sometimes the person in front of you is not dressed well, is not well spoken, and just something about it makes your heart smile. And you kind of
Yeah.
go, this is a good person. I'm going to tell me more. And you just have that richer conversation without judgment. And you find this amazing friend that your mind would have said, get rid of this person. This is no good.
And we've all had that experience. That's why they say you can't judge a book by its cover.
Definitely. Definitely.
Now, do you think we are programmed? So many talented people are programmed to play it small.
So this is what happens, I think. So just think about when a family has their first newborn baby, the weakest creature in the entire house. The cat has more power. The dog has more power. Certainly the parents have more power. But this entity that can't even lift up its own head comes into the household and says, I am the center of your universe. And as it gets older, and you go, no, honey, you can't have a lollipop. What does that 2-year-old do? Throw a fit or go super cute. Or I know mom's saying no, but I can go to dad and go, Dad, like we were just unbound when we were babies. Whatever we wanted, we got. We were powerful beyond belief. The maker put us there with that ability. And somewhere along our journey, we start doubting ourselves. We start second guessing ourselves. And part of that is our parents doing that. You see, what happens, Ali, is that the most important thing in the world before the baby came along, let's say uh, to the mother to be, is her significant other. Like you, Ali, you are the light of my life. My sun rises and falls where you are till the baby comes. And it's like, Ali, you're a second class citizen. This baby is the most important thing. And same thing for guys. It's like, oh my God, this is my kid. I have to protect it. And so when the baby is being quote unquote good, playing with the toy on the blanket, everybody's happy. But the baby finds a coin on the floor and goes over and picks it up and is about to put it in his mouth. And you know in your heart that this kid's going to choke on it and die. And so you don't go, you know, hey, Judy, put down the coin. That's really dirty. No, we go into fight or flight because the thing we love most in the world is about to die. And we go, no, bad, dirty, because we're panicked that our kid's going to die and we want to stop it from putting that coin in its mouth. But to the baby, it's not the behavior that's bad or dirty. I am bad and dirty. This 30-foot giant that protects me from all the other 30-foot giants, the one that protects me, that loves me, is angry at me, doesn't love me anymore. So the baby gets mad. The baby gets mad at the parent, but more babies get mad at themselves. What did I do to anger my mom or my dad? Of course, we're not angry. We're just in fear that the kid's going to hurt itself, right? But the baby doesn't know that. And anger at self is called guilt. And we feel guilty that I did something wrong. Or we feel angry at ourselves. Or we have fear of the outside world. So our parents used emotions, they weren't trained in this, to control us, to keep us safe. And they used guilt, anger, fear, hurt feelings which created unworthiness. And what they taught us, only do the things I've shown you how to do. Don't do anything new without my permission. Which in a dangerous world is probably quite a good thing to do, right? You don't want your kid playing with razor blades. But in those formative years, we develop our comfort zone and we go out there and go, we were these creatures that could do anything. Everything was possible for us to do. And all of a sudden, we get this comfort zone. And that makes us doubt ourselves. And what happens is, Ali, if you're not pushing against the comfort zone and growing it, it's
Mhm.
shrinking. There is no status quo. Either it's growing or shrinking. And then we get into this comfort zone where the comfort zone is around us and we forget we're creatures without any boundaries. We can do anything we want. And we settle for the lie we've told ourselves. And that's why I created Mindset Boosters, to give people the power of mindset so they can let go of that comfort zone and go out and make a difference in the world. Become the person that we're always meant to be.
Wow, that's very powerful. I want to ask: is there such thing as being too confident or overconfident? I know it's a big thing of everybody's talking. Well, I know my worth, but you've never proven anything. You've never put in any work, but you value yourself way up here, but your work ethic is way down here.
So that the universe will give you a reality check. So I think there is too confident in the sense of, if I am not only confident, but I think you're beneath me, Ali, then that's probably not a good thing. But if I'm super confident in my abilities, and let's say my ability to actually execute is here, and I'm talking a really big game, very quickly when it comes times to execute, I'm not going to live up to my expectations. And people around me are going to say, wait a minute, you said you were the best and you didn't even get any people in this promotion. What the hell's going on? So pretty soon it's going to settle down. But you could have somebody that is a clerk in an office that knows they can do better and are very confident, and the manager is off and their manager says, Ali, you're in charge of the office for the next 2 weeks. And instead of being an egomaniac, you step in a way that's powerful and you get more productivity out of all the employees. People notice. But if you're doubting yourself, if you had the abilities, I know I could do better, but I don't deserve it, or they won't listen to me, or I'm not good enough, or I don't have an university education, and you start second guessing yourself, then that turns out badly. So I think confidence is the ultimate aphrodisiac. So when people are looking for a mate, it's like, wow, Ali's really confident. This is someone that I want in my life. If you're like as good looking as you are and you're really funny, but your confidence level is like, oh well, I don't know, it's a turnoff. So I think one of the most important things, Ali, is our intent. Like, what is your intent in doing this business deal? Is it that Ali gets super rich and damn everybody else? Is it that you make American Airlines a much better airline to travel on? Or, intent, people can sense very, very quickly. And I believe in it so strongly that I got my first tattoo about a year ago. And this is Arabic for love. And this reminds me that I need to be in a place of love whenever I interact with anyone, including and especially myself. Because when you come from a place of love, you don't take advantage of people. When you come from a place of love, you don't give up easily. When you come from a place of love, you actually listen to the person you're with, because that's a great way of honoring them.
Now, how do you think AI and all this technology that we got going forward is going to play a role in the way we think and program our minds?
So I think the world is going to be divided into two groups, probably a lot more than that, but I'm going to go very simplistic. Is that at some point in the future, we're going to get enough resources to live your life. And I think at some point, the government is going to have to give you a monthly paycheck to help you do whatever you need to do. And there's going to be a group of people that will watch the latest soap operas and movies and videos and make that their life. and there's going to be a group of people that'll go, oh my God, the burden of getting a paycheck is gone. My purpose is to be a poet, and they will write poetry that comes from the heart and extend that field. Or I want to experiment in chemistry and go play with that. Or I want to help people that are homeless. That is going to allow one group of people to be free to go make the world a better place and follow their passion and their purpose. And another group of people are just going to become automatons and just like, oh, I get what's going to be on the soap today. What's happening with this couple? So I think to get a fulfilling life, you need to have purpose and to move forward. And speaking of AI, I took several months to teach AI to think like I think, how to create change really, really quickly, how to change mindset really, really quickly. And so what I do now is I get an AI program because it knows how I think, and I go, hey, we want to handle imposter syndrome. Give me the recipe for doing that. And since it knows how I think, it says, hey, first thing we should do is put people in an alpha state. And an alpha is a brain state where you learn really, really quickly. I said, okay, that sounds good. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to use this process, then this process, and then this process, and this will remove imposter syndrome. Then I go, yeah, the second process doesn't sound right. Swap it for this one. And when it swaps it for this one, then I said, go ahead and write the script to make that happen. And so rather than me doing it, I've taught AI how to think like me, how to create those changes. Then I go in and I basically tweak the final product. Then I use another AI product that's cloned my voice that basically uh, delivers this transformational applied neuroscience piece of mindset wear that creates change in people. So we can let AI replace us or augment us. And that's what I've chosen to do, is to use these amazing tools to make me smarter, to allow me to execute faster and to create more valuable resources for the world. And so AI can be our best friend or can be something that gets us to shut our mind down and we're just like, whatever you want me to do, AI. So, dear listeners, use AI as a tool to empower your humanity. That's going to be the currency of the new world, is humanity, not intelligence.
You hit up on a great point, and I love AI. It's my best friend, but there's a danger there that I'm always concerned with because I have a computer that is learning how I think. It knows my weak points, and it's thinking. At
Hmm.
some point, AI may be able to manipulate me with my own thoughts.
Yes.
It knows everything about me, and there's no hidden point that it can't discover about me.
So, your question is what?
So my question is, how do we overcome that? And then I got another question to hypnosis after that. For
Okay.
those thinking about that, the dangers of AI and being vulnerable with using AI system.
So, your body is a litmus test. Your body has the ability to pick up things at a super unconscious level of
Hmm.
what's going on. Because language is a high level function, but our software for the mind is happening at ones and zeros on computers,
Hmm.
but at a much lower, deeper level in our humanity. And our body is that litmus test. So the more we step into our body and know ourselves, that when Ali is manipulating me or AI or something else, I listen to my body and go, this doesn't feel right. Then I go, what about it doesn't feel right? It feels like this AI is manipulating me. And then we get to take a deep breath, step back, and go, hey, am I really thinking this? So stepping into our body is so critical in that human piece. And so here's a good thing. When you ask people, how long does it take me to make decisions about you from the first time meeting you? And some people might say, oh, in the first minute, I know Ali's a good guy. That's not the truth. It turns out it's sub 1 second. Like really, really quickly, our unconscious mind says, no, Ali's a dangerous guy. Be wary of him. And that becomes my filter of judging you. And after about two meetings, I go, oh, no, no, I misjudged him. He's a really good guy. Or so our speed of processing and the elegance of this instrument we have to pick up vibes is here. We've just forgotten it. We've been watching too much TV, too much social media, too much AI, and we've gotten out of our body into our heads and out of our heads into our technology. And what we need to do is, if we're going to survive this new future, we need to step back into our humanity, because that's going to be the compass that says, no, no, I'm going off path. Because it's so easy to seduce people, especially if you've got a super intelligence that tells me, Umar, you are handsome and good looking, and oh my God, you're so smart. And so, of course, I'd be enchanted by that. And so that's there. And you had a hypnosis question?
Yeah, because you mentioned briefly hypnosis. So if you could
Mhm.
go a little bit into hypnosis, and I've heard things. I've always been intrigued about hypnosis, but kind of afraid in my mindset because you got to really trust the person that's hypnotizing you, and there's the dangers that are there when you start reading stuff online. So if you could kind
Mm.
of dig through some of that.
Sure. So a couple of things. Do you have a spouse, Ali?
Not anymore. No.
You had a spouse at one point, right? Or a mom or somebody else in your life. And one day you might have been watching TV, and that this person's talking to you, and you're so engrossed in the TV show you're not hearing it, and they put their hand in front of your face, hello, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah, what were you, hi, sorry, what were you saying?
Hmm.
That state you were in watching TV is a hypnotic trance. It's a light trance. You've been driving home. You've been driving home to your old house. You've already moved to a new place, but your body is so programmed to go to the old house that all of a sudden you're in the driveway of the old house. Like, holy cow, how the hell did I get here? I don't live here anymore. We've all
Hmm.
experienced driving and not realizing we're doing it. So a lot of times we're in a trance. It's just a natural human state. So what hypnosis does is it intentionally puts you in a trance. And people that are very, very susceptible to hypnosis, I might say, Ellie, you're a chicken. You've always been a chicken. And you go, block, 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 block. But that's a small percentage of the population that would do that. The best description I ever heard was my niece. She had anxiety around school.
Hmm.
And so she was 8. And her mother's in the room. My sister's in the room with us. And I put her in a hypnotic trance, and I removed the anxiety about school. And when she comes out of the trance, her mom asks her, what was that like? And she goes, it was like I could hear everything Uncle Umar was saying, and at the same time, I couldn't. And that was her example of part of her being consciously there and another part not being there. And so when you're in trance, you hear everything that I'm saying, Ali. And if I asked you to do something totally dumb, you would just go, I'm not doing that. That sounds stupid. Unless you happen to
I
be
can
one of
see.
those people super susceptible, you would not go do something silly. But what hypnosis does do, it helps you quieten down the conscious mind, because the unconscious mind is so powerful that it controls so many things that we're not even aware of. So the yogis, when they go into the mountain and they meditate for 20 years, they have the ability to slow down their heartbeat to a beat or two or three a minute. Illusion of death. They have the ability not to feel pain. Like, so I'm using the Indian accent because I, come by it honestly. And so that's the ability of the mind to do that. So in hypnosis, you can go in and you can access those states without having to study for 20 years of deep meditation to control it. We can go down, shut down your conscious mind and control it. I'll give you a good example. This happened at a hypnosis conference a few years back. They had a doctor in attendance because, we're in this world now that you do anything that's remotely like this, you need a doctor on hand. They
Hmm.
got someone and they pinched their skin. So they lifted it up slightly off their body, and they got a pin and they put it through their skin. So they had a hole on one side of the pinch going through to the other side of the skin. So they had two holes in their body from that one needle prick going all the way through. This is the part that'll not freak you out. We
Okay.
hypnotized them not to feel pain, so they didn't feel any pain. That's not the surprising part. Here's the surprising part. I'm going to pull out the needle, and you will only bleed from the left hole, not the right one. And to somebody else, they say you'll only bleed on the right hole, not the left one. And your body obeys it at a deep hypnotic level because that's the control you have over your entire body that at a conscious mind you do not. So, hey, does that not freak you out? That's like
It
freaking
does.
amazing
That's crazy.
that we have that control, but somehow we've been locked out of that control panel. Only thing I know is I can smile, I can cry, I can say, I can do, I can run, I can jump. And somebody comes along and says, you can jump 3 inches higher. And you kind of go, I can jump 3 inches higher. And in a trance, you can jump higher.
So is it safe to say that hypnosis is kind of like a speeded up version of hypnosis? Well, hypnosis is a speeded up version of meditation.
That's in one aspect of it. And it also allows you to take control. So let me give you an example. So I've got this app called Mindset Boosters. It's a website, and it's got these audio programs that allow you to change your mindset whenever and wherever you want. Most programs are about 5 minutes in length, and I'll give you an example of one of these before we leave so you know proof positive this works. So one of the programs I have is called Talk to Future Self. It puts you in a hypnotic trance. It walks you into a cottage. You sit down in a chair. There's a chair before you. And then you say, I'd like future Ali who can talk to the most beautiful women in the world and engage them in a delightful conversation sitting in front of me. And the future Ali that can do that sits in front of you. And then you have a conversation and he coaches you on how to do this. So for me, I was dating my wife to be, and I thought, I need to eat my own dog food. I'm going to use one of my own programs to help me. And I go into this Talk to Future Self, and I go into a cottage, and this future me in front of me has this most amazing marriage with love that grows every single day. And my wife feels cherished and the most lucky person in the entire world. And I'm talking to this future self, and future self says, Umar, you need to write her love letters. And I go, okay, I can do that. Then my future self goes, you don't write that well, but you're really good at videos. Do love videos. And so what I do is when I'm out and about and I feel love for my wife, in that moment, I pick up my phone and do a selfie video. And I go, hey, Sheena, I was just looking at these flowers and it reminded me that you are the most important person. So this is not me faking it. This is me feeling that feeling, doing the video. And I send a 30-second video to her. And for her, the only complaint is, why do you want me to cry? Because these things touch my heart each time I get them. Could I have thought of this myself? Probably not. I would have been stuck at write love letters and they would have been grammar prone and like cheesy dialogue. And
That's when that
so,
rationalization that you talked about earlier would have came in into play.
yeah. So this one
Right.
student wrote me and said, I've been freaking out about the entrance exam to university because I took a year off between high school and university and anxiety ridden. And I spoke to my future self in that track and it told me I got this and all the anxiety's gone. And then she wrote me back saying, oh, by the way, I was in the first class of exam takers. So I got my first choice of all the subjects because I aced this freaking thing. So we didn't teach her a thing about letting go of anxiety. And so that's the power of mindset. And that's been my mission, is to give people the power of mindset in the palm of their hand. And would you like me to take you through an example of this, Ali, so you know proof positive? A, your mindset controls everything, and B, change happens like this.
Absolutely.
All right, dear listeners, dear viewers, and Ali's engineer in the background, all go on this journey with me. Ali, just so we have a baseline, I want you to think of your level of confidence and self-esteem right now on a scale of 0, I've got no self-confidence, no self-esteem, to 100, which is at the end of a Disney movie where the hero gets the girl wins the game and goes up into the sunset for a happy life. That's 100. 0 is totally depressed. Where are you right now in your self esteem in this moment talking to me?
Wow, that's a big spread.
Yeah. Just ask
Uh,
me, what's my number? A number's going to pop up.
75.
75. So everybody write that number down wherever you got it. I'm going to remember it for Ali. So Ali, let me take you through this thought experiment.
Okay, get my pen. Here, grab some paper.
Okay, he's going to write down 75. Excellent. So take a deep breath in, Ali. If, dear listeners, if you're driving, do not do the next part. Ali, all right. Put down everything when you're done, and we'll begin. Take a deep breath in. Let it out slowly. Close your eyes, and I want you to go on this thought experiment with me.
Okay.
The one of the large media outlets is going to do an interview with you. And to be ready for that, your friends tell you you should actually think about all your accomplishments that you've done. So you're ready for this interview. So you go into this room that's divided in two with a glass wall. And on one side of the room is a chair, a table, and a tablet of paper and a pen. And you sit down at that table and you start writing your accomplishments all the way back to when you were in kindergarten, doing those finger paintings that your mother and your dad loved, going to what you did in Sunday school that you were proud of, accomplishments in elementary school, academic or sports, things you did for your family that you're proud of. Think about the things you did in high school, in college, at work, in your adult life, for church, for friends, awards. And as you're thinking about your accomplishments, the essence of who you are, let's call it spirit or soul, steps out of your body, floats through the glass wall, and you're standing there watching yourself write your accomplishments on the other side of the room, sitting down there. And as you're standing there, Ali, think of someone in your life who values you highly and loves you very much. And that person could be one of your kids, a parent, a coach, a friend, the Dalai Lama, whoever it is for you. When you think of that person, nod your head so I know you got it.
Okay.
Have that person stand right next to you, looking through the glass wall, watching you write your accomplishments. And since your spirit or soul, step into their body and see yourself through their loving eyes. See how much they love you and care for you and value you. Get a really good sense of that. And since you're inside their body, hear how much they love you and value you and care about you. And since you're in their body, feel the depth of their emotions for you, their love, their caring. When you have all three, how they see you, you can hear their thoughts about you, you can feel the depth of their emotions, step out of their body, go through the glass wall, and step back into where you are right now, listening to my voice. And as you step back in, open your eyes and notice it changes things.
It does.
And when you think about your level of self esteem, that number's changed, right?
Yes, it goes up. You feel like it's like a team effect. At first, you feel like you're by yourself. Now you feel like you got somebody there with you.
Yeah. And for some people, it goes up. What did it go up for you? 75 to?
Definitely 90.
Yeah. And for most people, it goes up significantly. And this, you can boost your self esteem externally, meaning, Ali, you are amazing and you're beautiful. You can do anything. And you might believe me. But as soon as you leave this meeting, real life is going to hit you in the face. But what I showed you was how to do it intrinsically within your body, within your mind. And that self esteem is real. No one can take that away from you. That's why I love this. But one time I did this exercise, this happens rarely. There was about 120 people in the room. Everyone is smiling because this is how I end my onstage presence, except for this one woman, and she does not look happy. So when I get off stage, I go up to her and say, "Hey, how's it going? How did you like the presentation?" She goes, "Everything was good except for the last thing." I go, "Really? What happened in the last thing?" It just made me feel really, really bad. And I felt really, really bad here, like in the throat area. And I said, "Well, you better come in and see me for a session. Let's figure out what's going on there." So she comes in to see me. And remember, I told you Don't listen to your mind, listen to your body.
Yes.
So she comes in and I say, let me take you back to yesterday when I was doing this exercise. What were you feeling? Oh, this terrible feeling here. And we link this feeling using a little bit of light hypnosis. When have you felt this the first time? Had I asked a conscious mind? I don't know. Unconscious mind, boom, it goes back to a memory. She's 14 years old. She lives in a cul-de-sac, and all the families in that cul-de-sac know each other, love each other. It's just a beautiful place to live. Her parents are at work. She just comes out of the shower, comes into her bedroom, and one of the fathers from one of the homes is inside her bedroom waiting for her. She's got a towel around her, and he says, "Oh my God, I love you," and professes his love for her and kisses her, and she is like stiff as a board. And then he realizes he's made a super bad mistake, and he leaves. So nothing bad happens beyond that kiss and him violating her safe space. But
Hmm.
ever since then, she has put a shield up to protect herself from the world. And she's married to this guy right now who she loves with all her heart, and he loves her. But this feeling is coming up when we did this exercise. So we figure out where it came from, that she's put a shield around herself to protect herself. Makes sense, right? You're 14 years old. Someone's violated your space. So we go in with applied neuroscience. We remove that block. And she reports back the next day, Umar, you would not freaking believe this. I love my husband with all my heart, and he loves me. And because whatever block was there is gone, I can feel his love in 3D in full color. It's just like it bathes my entire body in love. And she had this shield that was blocking it, that she still felt it. And she thought that was the maximum once we removed it. It was a life changing event for her. That's what's possible for human beings to do. We don't need to wait for 6 years, 6 months. We can go in and in a few sessions just figure out where the stuckness is. And oftentimes it's our body and our unconscious mind can guide us there. And once we get there, we've got tools to remove those things and give people their life back. You will put on earth, I was put on earth, dear listeners, you will put on earth not to struggle, but to succeed. All the stuff that we create is of our own doing. Our childhoods, where mom gave us a piece of pie. We were the second kid to get it, not the first. And it just happened to be a random order of delivery. But in that moment, we said, oh, she loves Tommy more than me. And we decided we weren't good enough when that was never the intent. And then once you get a belief like that, then you're looking for evidence to support it. Next time you get a slice of cake first, and it's like, she's just doing that just to make me feel good. But if you get the slice of cake third, see, I told you.
We've all witnessed that.
Yeah,
And
all
probably
done it. Be
not.
guilty too. So beliefs are a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why mindset boosters. So I'll give you one more example of it. Is you've got somebody that is going in for an interview. That's the job they really, really want, and they've got this anxiety that's stopping them from going. They basically listen to a track for 5 minutes, and it drains all the anxiety away so they can step into this meeting with a lot more confidence and just kill it. The anxiety may come back in 4 hours, but that's okay as long as for the next 2 hours, I feel confident and powerful. Or you could have someone that is not feeling compassion right now. I'm going in to this event that I don't want to go into. So for my wife number one, I've been married twice. Wife number one, sometimes she's interested in something and I am not because it's boring as all get out. So I created this track that allows me to be highly curious and focused. And so I just switched that on before I go into the activity she wanted to do. And I'm there like, yeah, man, baby, tell me more about that. I want to know about that because that brain chemistry is happening in my head. For her, magical moment. My husband's super interested in this thing. Whereas before I was faking it. Oh, yeah, tell me more about this. You can sense it. So you've got the power of how you want to feel or act in the palm of your hand. And I keep on saying that, Ali, because in 2021, April 3rd, I had a thought, have I made an impact in the world? And the answer was no. Within a month, I sold my house, got rid of all my possessions because the thought was if I stay in this house with my safe friends, my safe clients, my safe life, nothing is going to change. So I got rid of everything and I went on a quest. Now it's coming up to year 4. Now I've kind of gotten back to work. And so I just went traveling because the ancients went on a quest. And what came up was, Umar, you need to give people the power of mindset. And mindset boosters became the mechanism to do that. And so I'm fulfilling my life's purpose. I'm in the last third of life. And it's like, I'm going to make the world a better place. And this is how I'm going to do it. Can I hear an amen?
Amen. You really seem like you got a track for every scenario that most people will encounter in life. And people really should check you out at your website, www.mindsetboosters.com, which is right below Umar, for those that
And
can.
there's a 7-day trial there. Try this thing out. Take it for a test drive. And thank you so much for having me on the show, man. It was really, really good.
Thank you. You have just transformed my life in this 1 hour that I've just been speaking with you, so I can imagine the lives that you are changing for those that are working with you. Because we've all been in every scenario that you just mentioned. I know I have, the job interviews, the relationship problems, the anxiety. So everyone can benefit from this.
Absolutely. And me included. Like I said, I eat my own dog food. Sometimes I need a track as well.
And you have a podcast as well.
Yeah, it's no limit selling and it's all about the mindset and sales and leadership because mindset is that pivotal thing. We've got about 420 episodes. And one of the reasons I do it is my highest value is learning, and getting smart people on the show, learning from them is uh, makes me happy. And those conversations add value to the listeners. And the thing that makes me the most happiest is when people write in saying, oh my God, that guy, Ali, you had him on the show and he said this, my close rate has gone up or my anxiety has gone away. And that makes me happy when we make a difference in the world.
So everyone go check out Umar's podcast, NoLimitSales.com. And if you're watching this one, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Dr. Umar, it's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm definitely going to your website and your podcast and going to subscribe because this has been powerful. What I've learned from you, and I want to learn a little bit more and be that top achiever as we all strive to get there. And you're welcome back on our show at any time.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have you on ours. Dear listeners, have a blessed day and go do something brave today. Make the world a better place.
Thanks for listening to Lifestyle After 5 Futurism Podcast.